They know it, and they they
Crazy.
knew that it was sanctioned. It was okay for him to run the, because don't forget, 6 police helicopters. Gary Webb comes out and says it's the CIA through Danilo Blandone putting drugs out on the streets of America, and it's an extension of J. Edgar Hoover trying to destroy the black family. I mean, y'all should really be pissed about this because it's horrific what has been done to us, and they don't care about any of us, to be honest with you. It's all about them getting their money, and they don't care about any of us. They would hem us up, they put us in the dirt, they don't care. And these drugs got put out, people were addicted, cocaine, heroin, all that stuff, and it's been going on since the 40s.
Right. So let me ask you, what now that you like knee deep into this whole investigation, you know, on Tupac Shakur's murder and stuff, how did you get this deep in it? Because I know, back in the days, you wasn't pumping trap or holler if you hear me. So how you get engulfed in this
Well,
whole thing?
yeah, I have a son who I went on a road trip with, and I was driving from El Paso to Kingman. And, I've been in the newspaper business and the movie business. Those are the only two things I know how to do. And I was going to pick up newspapers at the printer. And all of a sudden, about an hour in, he looks at me and he goes, "Dad, I'm not listening to your bullshit rock and roll." And I said, "Son, I am not listening to your bullshit rap." And now this is supposed to be like a bonding experience with my kid.
Right.
And I realized this is going to be.
How old are y'all at the time?
So I was probably 33 and he was 13, 14. And the reality of this situation, I might have been 35 or whatever. But anyway, I realized that if I didn't do something quick, that this wasn't going to be a bonding experience. This is going to be a terrible experience for both of us. So I said to him, "Son, I'm going to play you one of my songs, Eagles, REO Speedwagon, Journey, that kind of thing. And I want you to play me a song that you think will stand the test of time. And I want you to explain to me why you think it's going to stand the test of time." That trip, about 5, 6 hours on the road, I became a Tupac fan because of him, because of my son. And so, when the confession letter falls in my lap with Russell Poole, I
Wait, what song did he play?
he played everything. I mean, he played Changes. He played, it was like, every Tupac song you could imagine he was playing. I mean, like the whole repertoire of Tupac, you know,
Right.
Cluminati, All Through My Body, Blows Like a, I mean, all this stuff, right?
Right.
And it was really cool because he's explaining to me what it means to him.
Right.
And the kids.
This is Pat post Pac, like after Pac died.
Yeah, it was probably, around that time. And, of course, I really didn't know anything about the murder back then. I was doing a project with Russell Poole's aunt and uncle, and they said, "Hey, you got to meet our nephew." And they connected me to Russell. He and I started talking on the phone, sending emails back and forth. And then finally we met and he talked about this. And I was so confused, all these facts, and Suge Knight sitting in the car and he's behind the murders. And it just didn't make sense to me. I
Right.
was like, okay, you're going to get these gangbangers to kill the artist on your label and you're going to sit next to him. I mean, that part I could just never wrap my brain around.
So today, with all the research, all the years, because over the years, you have this theory, and then more information comes out, and it may
Yeah.
sway you a different way. Today, how do you feel?
Well, I feel like Reggie orchestrated this just like he says he does. He says he was going to plot and scheme and what have you. I believe David Kenner
He's
might
the
have.
orchestrator.
Yeah.
He
I think,
called himself that. I don't get my hands dirty. I'm the
yeah.
orchestrator. I know
Exactly.
all his greatest, dumbest quotes?
Oh yeah,
And all his incriminating quotes. I
yeah.
know.
Hey John, we got a lot to cover up, y'all. I mean, it's like you can't make this stuff up.
Right.
And I played all those quotes. I put them into a song. I'm not a rapper, but you know what? Every time I met with a rapper and said, "Hey, you want to do this song?" They were like, "Hell no, I don't want to get dead over Tupac."
Right.
And so, I mean, I literally asked 100 different people to do that song, and they wouldn't do it.
Right. How do you feel about Greg Caden?
Well, I think he's part of the cover up. I mean, for sure. And Greg Kading, like I said earlier, anybody who's got affiliations with LAPD, the sheriffs, the Compton PD, they're the cover up. And so they're going to look at Reggie Sr. in the MGM tape and go, "That's not Reggie. That's not Reggie." And anybody that does that, y'all shouldn't listen to. If there's a fact and you see the fat fold on the back of his neck and it's plain as day that that's Reggie Sr., you just can't deny it. And if they're out there saying those kinds of things, they're a gatekeeper. And I think they got to try and keep this away from the powers that be, because it's bigger than just gangbangers in the car. It's once he's in the hospital, he's expected to live. And
Right.
we talked about this earlier. Suge came out and said that Snoop never went to the hospital. But it's crazy because Snoop said he did go to the hospital. He said, "I
I
saw
don't
him
believe
in
he went to
bed."
the hospital. Trust me, man. I'm a videographer for
Yeah.
30 years. If Snoop ass was at that hospital, there would be pictures, footage. Snoop is the biggest artist in the world, especially back then. You telling me he showed up to the hospital for Pac shot, Snoop shows out, and it ain't a picture, a video, or nothing like you see Suge walking around with the black stuff on his head with the cigar. I can still picture the outlaws out there crying. I can still see some Afeni running to the car. You telling me Snoop went to the hospital and it ain't no content of him nowhere. Have you ever seen him anywhere?
Have I ever seen any photos? No. But I can also tell you this. I've also been on closed sets where cameras are just not allowed. I've been on many closed sets, and it's
When
like,
Snoop Dogg walked into the hospital where Tupac was shot, trust me,
okay, well,
one
I
of
will
those
just say
news
this.
channels would have had him on camera.
So you don't believe that when Snoop says, "I whispered in his ear," I saw him. He died in the bed while I was there. You don't believe any what Snoop said about it.
I don't know unless Bo Preem, who was at the hospital, or somebody that was at the hospital say they saw Snoop there, then I will believe it. But you're not going to tell me Snoop was at that hospital and the highlight of the shooting, the way the media was out there, and nobody caught him on camera.
Yeah,
Snoop,
look, I've seen people go into private entrances. Westfield in Century City, there's a private entrance for celebrities to come in. They get hustled in. Nobody can take pictures of them unless it's something that they want. They're not going to, and they can go on full shopping tours
so
at Westfield.
Snoop went there by himself.
What do you mean? Well, I don't think he went there by himself because Billy Garland says that he went there with 4 LAPD cops.
Snoop did.
Yeah, that's what Billy Garland says. And look, I
Why
don't
would,
know.
why would he have 4 LAPD in Vegas?
Kevin Gaines, David Mack. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's
I get it.
suspect as hell. But I'll just say this: you've got a platform. This is one of those great things. If anybody out there has a photo of Snoop at the hospital, please send it to Choke No Joke. Okay,
Stroke no joke in
please,
Gmail.
please send it off to him.
Yeah,
And
please.
why not? Why not get the crowd out there looking for these photos if they exist? But I do
Bro,
know,
it's been 30 years.
yeah,
That photo would have came up a
possibly,
long time
possibly.
ago.
But I can also tell you, I grew up in Hollywood. My father was, a semi-famous gaffer in Hollywood, and my grandfather was a teamster. So I've been on hundreds and hundreds of sets. And when it's a closed set, nobody brings a camera. And if
But
and if there was,
that's a public hospital.
yeah, but I'm saying, if he was gonna duck in to see him, and it was arranged, they could do it through security. He comes through security, gets to see him, and he gets to slip back out, and it's not going to be a big public thing. So, but I don't know. I'm not saying that happened, but I'm not saying it
Have
didn't.
you ever heard Afeni didn't die when Tupac died, right?
No, no.
So you ever heard her say Snoop came to the hospital?
Yeah, you know what? I know Billy Garland said that. I know she was there when they pulled the plug,
Right.
and I heard that she was with Snoop.
Maybe he did that.
Yeah.
It's just for me, it's just shocking that there's no content on that.
Well, I take Snoop at his word. He said he was the last one to see him alive. That's what he said. So I
So
don't know.
he was the last one to see him alive.
That's what he said.